Do you think you're lacking a method, mode, and a way in your real estate business? Well, let's get your systems in check. My name is Katelyn Fulton, and I'm a real estate broker with Century 21 Percy Fulton in the Toronto and Durham Region area. And in this live webinar, I'm going to go over the 5 most important systems that every real estate agent needs to have in their business, where to start, and how to implement them. So if you're new here, please go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you're an agent in the Toronto, Durham Region, and Greater Toronto area looking for a brokerage to join, click the link below to book a one-on-one meeting with me, or click any of the other links for any of the free resources that you may see throughout the session. I hope you enjoy the webinar. Fulton. I am a real estate broker with Century 21 Percy Fulton in the Toronto and Durham Region area. And if you know me, you know I am an extreme nerd when it comes to real estate systems. And I know it's not really the sexiest topic to talk about, but I do think it's one of the most important topics that every real estate agent should understand, at least to some extent. But I think it's one of those really big things that's really changed my business, changed my life. Something our Fulton family uses in our real estate brokerage. And it's just the knowledge that I've learned from my father that I want to pass down to you guys, because it's just one of the things that's really been a game changer for our success. So you'll see a little bit of a mix of Percy Fulton, but as well as Fulton Consulting. It's just another way that I share a lot of my courses and some of my consulting services for people that aren't with our brokerage. So just in case you guys are wondering about that. But let's get started. So some of you guys may wake up every single day with a few questions in mind, or maybe it's something that's always on your brain, and that is, what should I be working on today? Or what's actually going to move the needle forward today? And a big one is, there is no way that I can be implementing and executing all of the things that I need to do on a daily basis, because we know as real estate agents, there are so many things that we need to be doing, because we are the real estate agent, we are the assistant, we're the marketing manager, we are the therapist, we are everything to everyone, especially in the beginning of our careers. And it can all become so overwhelming for us, and we just don't know where to start. So we all have that feeling in common, and that is guilt. So I should be making my calls today. I should be checking in with my past clients. I should be posting on social media. I should send those postcards out, making those videos. I should be door knocking, or more importantly, I should be spending more time with my family. And often these types of thoughts is what leads to overwhelm and inaction. So I have the solution to your problems for you today, and that is through systems. Again, nerdy topic, not very sexy, but I'm going to try to make it as playful as possible, and hopefully something that really sticks to you guys, that you can really understand. And at the end of it, I am going to be giving you guys a free ebook. Some of you guys have read it, some of you have not, but if you stick around to the end, then I'm going to share with you guys that guide that hopefully summarizes a lot of this up for you guys as well. So what are systems? And honestly, this is a topic that comes up a lot, and I watch a lot of panels. I listen to a lot of top realtors. I study a lot of the top realtors. And systems is one of the common answers that a lot of the top agents will say is what really made them successful and what got them to where they are today. And it can seem like this huge, big, complicated thing, and I promise you, it is not. In simple terms, systems is leveraging repeatable processes. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Systems are leveraging repeatable processes. And what it is, it's just a set of processes, tools, and strategies that are designed to really simplify and automate your tasks, improve efficiency, consistency, and when you're ready, it will really help you with that scalability when you're ready to get to that next level of your business. So what they really do, systems is really just supposed to free up more of your time so that you can focus on those high value activities, such as building client relationships, closing transactions, and more importantly, expanding your network. And it's really hard to do these 3 really important things without actually having systems in place. So if any of you guys know me or watch me on social media, especially this week, I posted this packing system. This is my packing system. It's something that I do, which is, I just want to show you guys how crazy I am when it comes to organization and just a different way of looking at systems. But this is my packing system. So next week, I'm going to be going to Century 21 Chairman's Circle, which is a networking event with other fellow Century 21 broker owners in the country. And to me, I always try to keep things very organized in my life and focus on what is the most important part, especially when it comes to going to conferences. And to me, the most important thing is building those relationships and expanding my network. And so what can I do to ensure that that is what I am most focused on when I am at conference or I'm away? And what decisions can I take away from me that will make my processes very simple when I'm away? And if you've been on conference, you know that they're go, go, go. You're in sessions all day, your lunches are planned, your dinners are planned, your networking events are planned, and there's not a lot of time when you're back at your hotel room, you're planning your outfit and you're already out. So one of the things I do to really narrow down my decision-making is I plan out all of my outfits so that I know exactly what I'm wearing when I wake up in the morning. I know what I'm wearing at conference. I know what I'm wearing during the day. And ultimately, it just really allows me to spend more time with people, building relationships. And it seems insane, but this is one of my systems that I have in place. So I'm not expecting you guys to go into systems this way, but just showing you it's not just the systems that you're going to be doing on a daily or on throughout your business. There's also systems that you guys can be doing in your personal lives to allow you to fill up some empty gaps when it comes to your networking and building your business as well. So just to show you guys my crazy brain, this is where I'm going to be guiding you in your session today. So what I want you guys to do is break your systems down. So what my coach actually taught me was to visualize where I want to be. So before you even start to think about your marketing efforts or think about all those things that you want to do, start off by thinking about where do you want to go in your life and in your business? Do you picture yourself running around with buyer clients all the time? Do you picture yourself working more with sellers? Do you imagine yourself on a beach running your business from your computer? Or do you like to do the nitty-gritty on the ground, boots strapped up, and you're doing everything yourself? Visualize where you want. Do you want to spend more time with your family? How can we do that? And how can we build a business that allows you to do that? From there, you want to talk about what type of clients do you want to work with? How do I generate the leads? How do I nurture a lead into a client? And then what do I do when that lead actually does become a client? And then how do I get more business from these clients after the sale is complete? So you have to break these down. And I've narrowed it down into 5 important systems. Now, I don't know how to get rid of this little, this thing that I've created on this screen. So I apologize for this blue swiggle that may be becoming part of the presentation with us today. Anyways, I have narrowed it down into the 5 core systems for real estate agents, starting off with lead generation and marketing, which is actually finding the business, finding the clients that want to work with you. And then it's going to go into the client relationship management tool, which is what you're going to do to nurture the business, the client experience, both the buyers and the sellers, which is now we've converted them to work with us and we've converted them into closing the transaction. And then, of course, we're going to talk about 2 other systems, which aren't part of the client process, but also kind of part of the process, but your communication systems, as well as how can we schedule, optimize so that you can actually do all of these things and not have all these crazy thoughts of overwhelm. Because at the end of the day, it is overwhelming, but I promise you, if you start to break it down step by step by step, this business is not as overwhelming as we think it is. And I find that a lot of us agents, we've got squirrel syndrome. We go to a conference, we learn about something, some crazy lead generation activity, and then we forget about all the steps that we were doing. So I want to reel us back a little bit to really look at the business from a high level vision, a bird's eye vision. Okay, this is how the business goes. I need to find leads. I need to nurture those leads. I need to then turn those leads into clients. I need to give them the best client experience I can give them. And then I need to get a referral, and it's just one quick system cycle. And that's all this business is. So I just want to simplify it for us so that we're not getting overwhelmed by all these gurus that we're hearing out there and all the people that we're hearing on all the stages when we go to these things. So let's talk about system number 1. And I'm going to dive into each of these systems, but if you heard me at conference or you've heard my sessions, I'm not going to go very deep into these sessions because it could honestly take me 2 to 3 hours per system. So I'm only going to quickly do overviews of each of these systems with you just for time's sake as well. But I am a nerd when it comes to all of this, especially this first system that we're going to talk about, which is lead generation and marketing. So our number one job as a real estate agent is to find new clients every single day. That's it. That is our only job every single day, is how can I move the needle forward in order to get a new client every single day. So if we're out there grocery shopping during the day, or we're out there running errands and we're doing things that are not actually moving the needle forward, then we need to rethink what we're doing on a daily basis, because all our jobs are every single day is to find someone to put their hand up and say, hey, I want to buy a house. Hey, I want to sell a house. And this is something that we overcomplicate very often. Just want to see, I don't know, if anyone knows how to get rid of that swiggle, please let me know, but hopefully it's not bothering you guys. Anyway, so there's a difference between marketing versus lead generation. So marketing is basically, it's a range of activities that's aimed at promoting your brand and your services, and also kind of acts as a nurturing system as well. So it's those activities that remind people, oh, it's Yasser. Yasser, I can see your thing. And then it went away. Okay. Anyway, so marketing is just a broad range of activities that aims at nurturing your business and reminding people about who you are. So it's those billboards, it's your postcards, it's you posting on social media saying, hey, let me help you buy or sell. If you're interested in buying or selling a home, call me. So that's what all these marketing things, it's just really promoting yourself and reminding people about who you are and building that awareness about you. Lead generation, on the other hand, is something that is actually specifically focusing on attracting and capturing those clients who may actually have interest in buying and selling properties. So it's grabbing your marketing and figuring out who's actually watching your marketing and who has their eyeballs on you. But how do we figure out who of those people that have their eyeballs on us, or who we're sending our marketing efforts out to, who is actually looking to buy or sell? Otherwise, let's just say you're sending out postcards, for example. You're sending out 10,000 postcards and no one calls you, because you probably have on your postcard saying, if you're interested in buying or you're interested in a free home evaluation, call me. And like, that's great and all, but like, what can we do to actually get these people to put their hand up, give us their contact information, and actually express that they're buying and selling real estate, so that we even know if our marketing efforts are actually working? And what I find a lot of real estate agents do is we are only focusing on marketing. We're really good at putting our names out there. We're really good at reminding people about us, but we're not very good at actually generating leads from those marketing efforts. And that could just be like lack of education. We were never taught that properly, especially in real estate. Like, they teach us like all these different marketing things to do, but what can we do to actually get contact information to figure out who's actually looking to buy or sell a property? And these two things actually work very well together. It's not saying you got to pick one or the other. They have to have a mixed relationship where you're marketing yourself, but you're also doing lead generation activities. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So this is what the sales system looks like. And this is what you would call, I guess, the funnel. So what the purpose of the sales funnel is we want to make people aware of us. Okay. So like I said, marketing. Marketing is making people aware of who we are and what we do. And that's done through your social media platforms. That's done through your newsletters. That's done through flyers. That's done through your billboards. Maybe you've got garbage cans out there. You've got your name at the arena. This is marketing. This is letting people know who we are. And on the side here, you're going to see it's a broader audience. So it's a really big audience of people. And what I find is a lot of real estate agents get stuck on phase one. We're just marketing. We're just marketing. But how do we figure out of that group of people who actually wants to buy and sell real estate? So we got to narrow down this group to see who's actually interested, and that's through the lead gen. From those people that you figure out okay, they're looking to buy or they're looking to sell. Let's take that communication off the marketing and let's do some more personalized communication. So maybe you've got some email drip campaigns, maybe you're text messaging these people, you're calling these people, you're throwing client appreciation events, or like you're just doing things now directly to these people to try to communicate more about the process of buying and selling, so that ultimately we can get even that group narrowed down a little bit more into the consultation phase, which is maybe the buyer presentation, or maybe you went on a listing pitch and now we're figuring out, okay, we're going to get them to the consultation. Ultimately, we want to get them through the showings, negotiations, and offers, and then they sold the house. And it doesn't end there, because now we want to do some post-sale nurturing to now get referrals from these people. So the funnel is always going, but let's not get stuck in the marketing part where we're just advertising ourselves without actually figuring out different methods that we can do to actually figure out who's looking to buy or sell real estate with you. So from sitting down, I mentor a lot of real estate agents. I sit down with you guys, and what I'll do with a lot of our agents is we'll go deal by deal and we'll say, okay, where does your business come from? And we already know 80% of the business is going to come from people that you already know, whether it's friends, family, friends of friends, a cousin of a friend. People that already know, like, and trust you are going to be the people that are going to be doing business for you, versus people that you don't know, which is the other 20%. And I find where a lot of agents get stuck is that they're constantly marketing to people that they don't know because they want people to know them. And then they forget that they're not marketing enough to the people that they do already know, which ultimately we call your sphere of influence, your database, whatever you want to call it. And we forget to actually market because we think they're just going to buy or sell with us because they know who we are. It's my brother, it's my sister. Of course, they're going to use you. And so we just kind of like put those people off to the side quite often. And then all of a sudden you get the phone call that your best friend bought a house with somebody else. We've all been there, right? So we got to look back at our marketing efforts, and don't forget to just market to the people that you know. You will have much more success if we do focus 80% of our time and efforts marketing to those people we know. And then of course, hopefully, yes, the strangers are going to come find us as well, but let's not focus 80-90% of our time on getting people that we don't know to do business with us when we already know that 80% of the business is coming from the people that we do know. So let's focus there. And then naturally, we're going to, of course, spend a little bit of time figuring out how we can get business from the people we don't. So this is what a lead generation and marketing system would look like. So what I would recommend, step one, let's research what the local market is. Is there any trends happening? Is there any up and coming areas? Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? What's happening out there? And what do we want to market to? Step two would be to define your target audience. And this is just marketing 101 for you guys. But who is your ideal client? And this is something I always get pushback. And I just got pushback last week from it as well, even though I teach this all the time. Define who your target audience is. And I cannot stress this enough. If you're an experienced agent here, I would go think back to who you love working with. Do you love working with a certain age group? Do you love working with buyers? Do you love working with sellers? Do you like downsizers, upsizers, seniors, a specific location, a specific style of home? Who's your target audience? And it's not to say if you chose seniors as your target audience, that if a young millennial comes up to you and says they want to buy a house, you're not going to turn them away or anything like that. And that's where I get the most pushback, is because agents want to talk to everybody. And when you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody, because you're just throwing your name out there. You're doing all this marketing, but like, you want to be known for something. Maybe you're known as the agent that works with families that have dogs and you know all the best dog parks in the city. Maybe you specialize in Airbnbs and you know which areas allow Airbnbs, you know all the rules of Airbnbs, and that's what your target audience is to work with people that want to invest in Airbnbs. So start to think about who your ideal client is and go after them and do all of your marketing and do all of your lead generation efforts to that specific person. From there, it's going to make it really easy, because now you know, okay, who's your ideal audience and what is their pain point? So just for example, let's say a first-time home buyer. A first-time home buyer's pain points would typically be they don't know how to buy a house, They don't know how much money they need to save. They don't even know where to start. Who do they talk to? There's a lot of questions that a first-time home buyer would have. So what can we provide a first-time home buyer that would solve those pain points? And we call this a lead magnet. And this could be through an ebook. These could be a buyer's guide, a first-time home buyer's guide. It could be a simple checklist, like the steps to buying your first home. If you're a seller, it could be a home evaluation tool. What can we provide these people? Maybe if you're working with seniors, it could be like a downsizing checklist. If you're working again with Airbnbs, it could be like, here's a list of all the Airbnbs in the area. First-time home buyers may have lower budgets. So maybe you're offering a list of homes under $700,000 or whatever it is in your market. Think of all these things that you can offer your target audience that would then make them put their hand up, give you their contact information, and you're going to provide them this guide that's going to solve their problem in exchange for their contact information, such as an email address, a mailing address, or a phone number. And you can do this in multiple ways. This could be done through a landing page where they just fill out a form, first name, last name, email address, and then automatically they get an ebook from you or a guide. And then in exchange, you're getting their contact information because now they've put their hand up. They said, hey, I'm a first-time home buyer and I need that guide. And now you know from all of your marketing efforts, great, I've got a first-time home buyer in my thousands of followers. And now I'm going to take it a step further and do more personalized communication about buying their first home. And we're going to nurture that lead until they become a client. You see where I'm going with this, guys? So think of different ideal clients. There's thousands of clients. You can look this up and like different things that you can provide for them that's going to solve them. But at the end of the day, when you guys are doing all these marketing efforts, maybe you're on Instagram, for example, and let's go back to the first-time homebuyers thing. Maybe you've got this guide that you can provide them. And then in your stories, you are saying, hey guys, if you're a first-time homebuyer, I've got this guide that will help you learn how to buy your first home. Put your email address in this questions box. They'll put their email in, and then you can email them a home buyer's guide. And then I'm going to talk about what to do with that contact information. But that's how this works. So figure out one lead magnet. We don't need an ebook, a guide, a checklist, and a home evaluation. You only need one lead magnet. So if you walk away today, think about something that would help your target audience create that lead magnet and figure out different ways that you can get in front of them to get their contact information. So again, if you're working, figure out what platforms your contacts are going to be on. So if it's a first-time home buyer, maybe they're on online platforms. Your website should have this lead magnet. Your social media, you should have a link to your lead magnet, all that stuff. If you're working with seniors, you might have to go the more traditional route. So you may be going to hand out postcards, going door to door to them, putting a QR code on your postcard for your free guide or your free checklist. So at least you're getting it online, or maybe you're going door knocking and you're writing out physically what it is and you're physically handing them a home buyer's guide or checklist, downsizing checklist, whatever it is. Think about where your target audience is going to be and how you can give them this lead magnet and get their contact information so that then we can continue to do a client nurturing and conversion. So hopefully this all makes sense, but if it doesn't, put it in the questions and I'll answer them at the very end there. So again, I want you guys to think about picking one niche and doing it really, 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 really well. Okay, so don't listen to that advice that you've probably been given in the past, that you're leaving money on the table if you're only talking to one person. Like I said, just because you're picking, say, first-time homebuyers as your target marketing audience, doesn't mean that if someone calls you and says they want to sell their house and move up, doesn't mean you're going to turn them down because they're not part of your target audience. It means that you're going to narrow down your marketing efforts so that every day you're not waking up being like, okay, who can I talk to today? You're just going through a list of your first-time home buyer things. Okay, so one post could be talking about, okay, this is how you save for a house. One post could be like, this is step one of buying a home, the pre-approval. These are the steps. So every day you're just talking to first-time home buyers, or every day you're talking to Airbnb hosts. Every day you're talking to sellers. So it's really, I'm just teaching you guys how to narrow down your marketing efforts so that you're not waking up every day being like, what should I do today? Because you already know your marketing is going to be talking to the same people. So here's a sample of, actually, this one's actually my lead generation and marketing efforts. So if you want to see a very specific of what I'm talking about, this one's mine. So sellers is who I prefer to work with, located in a very specific neighborhood. I've even narrowed my target audience even more down from that. I want to work with introverted 25 to 45-year-old couples that are looking to sell and upsize in Pickering. That is my audience. An introvert is a very specific type of person, because I know I'm sitting here talking to over 100 people right now. My target audience, I want to work with people that are introverted like me. So introverts, for example, doesn't mean that we don't have, like, we're not outgoing personalities. It means we don't like to be in big social groups. We don't like small talk. We sure as hell don't like the phone. So we like text messaging. We like doing everything online. We like as little human interaction as we can possible. So behind a screen is typically, of course, maybe yours is extroverted, 25 to 45-year-olds, and you're hosting client events and all of that stuff. But this one's just sticking to like what mine is. So what would an introvert seller pain point be? Well, they probably want to know what their house is worth, but they also don't want a real estate agent coming over into their home to tell them what that is. So what we offer is a free instant online home evaluation. So they just go to our website, click on a link, put their address in, and then instantly they actually receive a report that tells them what their house is worth. That way, they don't have to talk to anyone. They get what they want. I get what I want, which is their mailing address, their phone number, and their email address. And now I can communicate with them in a very different way than maybe what an extroverted person would want. Another lead magnet could be a home selling guide, which we would promote probably on our social media platforms and all of that. So that brings me into the lead capture. So typically an introverted person in the ages of 25 to 45 will be online. So where can I offer them this free instant online home evaluation? Probably on my social media platforms, in my stories, on my links, on our website SEO, direct mail, where you're mailing them something with a QR code that has a link to the free home evaluation, or through email marketing. And this is all done through landing pages and contact forms. From there, now we've got their contacts. They put their hand up from all of our marketing. So on social media, for example, we've got about 7,000 followers. Not all 7,000 of those people are going to be buying or selling our house. But every week we put up a link to our website to see who's going to put their hand up, say, hey, I'm a seller or I own a home in your area. Now I've got their email address. They're not ready to buy or sell today. That's not the reality of online leads, right? But now I'm going to, now they put their hand up. Now I'm going to put them on my lead nurturing system and marketing. So I'm going to keep following up with them on social media. Now I know I can DM them, be like, okay, they put their hand up. Now I'm going to be putting some more extra effort to nurturing this person. We're going to be commenting on their stuff, posting on their walls, email drip campaigns. So we'll set them up on an email newsletter campaign. So they're always going to be getting something from us. Also personalized follow-up, again, text message them, be like, hey, I sent you a home evaluation. Are you interested in selling your home? Direct mail and all of that. So this is a sample of what it is. And all we do is repeat. We just post that free instant online home evaluation link on all of our marketing efforts once a week, so that we're always trying to capture from our audience who's looking to buy or sell. So that is the Fulton sisters hack for all of those that have ever been curious about it. And not to say you can do the same thing offline, more traditional routes, but this is the way that we do it. So here's a sample. This is what our website looks like. They go ahead, they put their mailing address, and then they get a report that just sends them, again, what their house is worth. It gives them a very broad range. So it's not like this is what your house is worth. So it gives them a broad enough range that now I can follow up with them and try to give them a more specific home evaluation. But the difference between this lead magnet and say one like agent locator, for example, for those of you that are in our area, people can go to your website, put their address in, and then they're going to get an email that says, thank you for putting your mailing address in, or something like that. Someone will be in touch with you. And then it becomes this manual process. So we decided to take that away. It's this program called Remarketer. So Remarketer is the company that we use. So people put their mailing address in, they get an instant home evaluation. And while I'm working, my clients are getting home evaluations. So it's taking that step, which is a system. So remember, I told you I want to spend more time focusing on specific tasks. And the last thing I want to be doing is a home evaluation because it popped up in my email and now it's an extra effort. So it really takes away a few steps. And then this is our home seller's guide. So we promote these two things on our platforms. Perfect. I'm sure I'm going to get lots of questions on this one because I always do. So put them in there and I'll answer those at the end. So the other one is the client relationship management tool, your CRM. This is your list. So now that you've implemented a lead generation and marketing system, now you've got all these leads. And now, like, what do we do with these leads? So we need to keep these leads organized. And this is the only thing that you guys have control over in your business. So let's say you guys are like, oh no, my database or my contacts are all on Instagram. I don't need this. They're all watching me. Well, what happens if Instagram gets shot out tomorrow? And that was what you were relying your business on. Or what if Facebook just disappears and doesn't become cool anymore and we're on to the next technology? That's why it's really important to be collecting email addresses, mailing addresses, phone numbers, because this is something that you have more control over and something that you own. And if you're putting them onto your CRM platform, we don't have to worry about if Instagram goes away, if YouTube goes away, if any of these platforms go away, because we have all these human contacts, mailing addresses, phone numbers, email addresses. These are something that people keep with them pretty much for life. So these are things that we want to keep control over and not throw away. We want to keep these, and now we want to keep them organized. So yes, they put their hand up for an email address, but don't just send them a guide and then do nothing with that email address. We need to have a system. Okay, someone gave me their email address or someone gave me their mailing address. What do I do with it? And how do I make sure I don't lose that contact information and lose touch with this person? So what is a CRM? If I've got some new agents here, a CRM is just a strategy, and it's a technology-driven approach that businesses use to manage interactions with their clients and their prospects. So honestly, like, I'm on my dentist CRM. I'm pretty sure like they send me a reminder every 6 months, like your cleaning's coming up, or we haven't heard from you in a while. So, or like even happy birthdays. That's what a CRM platform is going to do. It's an online platform where you're putting contacts in, and it's not only going to remind your clients to make certain decisions, it's going to remind you to also check in with Sally, check in with Bob, and like reminding you to do all these strategies so that you're not dropping the balls. So yes, you gave your seller's guide 6 months ago, but what did you do with that contact information? And then what sucks the most is when they end up going to sell their house and then you're all mad about it because you had a conversation with them. But did you stay in touch with them? High chance, usually no. So when I sit there when an agent gets mad about their friend buying a home with somebody else, I always have to ask the question, well, did you ask for their business? Did you nurture their business? 90% of the time they said no, and we're the only people to blame when that happens. So by having a CRM is really going to take that stress out and make sure that we're following up with these people properly. So this is what a CRM system could look like. Everyone's looks different, but this is as simple as I could come up with. So let's say we hosted an open house, for example. I know I'm not the only one that's been guilty of this. I know for sure people have been guilty of this, where you hosted an open house, you had this sign-in sheet, and then that sign-in sheet's all scrumpled up at the bottom of your car somewhere, right? Because they weren't interested in buying that house that day. But what if we instead took that sign-in sheet, grabbed those contacts or the contacts that you got for signing up for your home buyer's guide, we put them in your CRM. We want to categorize the contact. So tags are so important and something that a lot of agents forget. So when you sign up someone into your CRM, are they a buyer? Are they a seller? Are they a referral partner? Are they a past client? What are they? Set them up on a communication plan, which I'm going to show you guys, and then come up with a follow-up system for these people, like set reminders, like follow up with this person, get them on some sort of drip campaign email newsletter so they're receiving something from you all the time and being reminded. So this is where the lead generation, now the marketing system comes back into play to now nurture your leads, to remind them about you and to remind them that you guys had a conversation and they put their hand up. And then at the end of every year, analyze your CRM. So for example, my sisters and I went over our CRM email campaigns last year, and we actually made a decision to take away holiday newsletters because we had so many unsubscribes anytime we would send out a holiday e-newsletter that we just took it out altogether because we're like, well, I don't want people unsubscribing because as soon as they unsubscribe to that newsletter, now they're not going to receive our quarterly newsletter where we find out what their house is worth, seasonal maintenance, all of that. So make sure at the end of every year, you go back and you analyze a lot of your things that were working and weren't working so that you can make sure that your CRM is always going. And this is as simple as it is. People can have really complicated CRMs as well, but by having just like a well-implemented CRM, it's really going to enhance that organization of those contacts that you got, and then ultimately your client relationships. So it's not this big crazy thing, guys. I promise you, it's just inputting contacts, tagging it, set them up on a communication plan, and then nurture those leads. So this is a sample touchpoint system. I recommend coming up with a 12-month one. So hopefully, many of you guys in December or November or January started to set up what you guys want to do every month to make sure you're staying in front of your clients. So now that you've got all these leads, you're marketing to them, you've got your friends or family on it, what are we going to do to stay in touch with these people? So it can be done through many different ways. It could be through direct mail. You could be doing client events, email marketing, so newsletters, personal touches where you're actually reaching out to them and you're calling them, DMing them, whatever that looks like, or even just social media where maybe you're doing things every day. Maybe once a month, you've got some sort of theme directed to your target audience, but start to think like, what can I do every month to make sure I'm staying in touch with these people to remind them of you? So you've got your big marketing efforts, your awareness, you brought them down to lead generation. Now we're in that next funnel where it's the personalized communication plan, which is all of this stuff. So this is what you guys would be, and they're not all the same. Again, think about what you like. A client event would be my nightmare. As an introvert, I cannot host a client event. We did it once, it takes out all my energy, but I'm really good at communicating with people via email. I'm really good on social media. I'm good at DMing you to check in, and I'm good at direct mail. So these are different things. If you're an extroverted person and you love being in front of your clients, having like a quarterly event is something that you guys can do. So pay attention to this and write out each month and different things that you can be doing to stay in front of those people. Okay, system number 3 is the client experience. So once you've mastered your lead generation and marketing, your CRM, now one of those leads is putting up their hand and saying, I'm ready to go to the next phase and I'm ready for a consultation, or I'm ready to sell my house, I'm ready to buy a house. And so now that we've actually converted them into a potential client, we want to make sure that we create a very positive and memorable client experience. We don't want people to think that we're disorganized. We don't want to drop any balls. We really need to understand what the buyer journey looks like and what the seller journey looks like. We never want to wing it. And like I said, you want to write out all of your steps. So when you're working with your buyer and seller clients, start to think about what you do. Okay, consultation, pre-approval, book showings, write the offer, negotiate the offer, first buyer visit, second buyer visit. There's so many little steps, but you need to write out all of the steps so that you understand it, so that you're not always like, okay, what's next in the system? Okay, they want me to come for a listing presentation. Like, what do I do? You should know. You should be like, okay, we should be on autopilot at this point. Like, great, got a client. Now what do I do? So these systems and steps are typically the same. You're not really like buyer and sellers strategies. It's the same thing. You get called for a listing presentation. Great. Let's get the coming soon marketing. Let's get the photographer, the videographer, the cleaner, the stager. Done. On the market. Here's the marketing. It should be the same steps over and over and over. So the same steps are typically the same. The only changes are the problems that arise through the transactions or the personalities that we're dealing with. Because of course, clients have very different personalities, but the step-by-step system of the buyer seller clients always stay the same. Now, I've got a lot of agents that came into this business for the freedom. We're all here for the freedom, right? Well, I want you to figure out this is your ticket to that freedom-based business. So you may actually get to a point where you want to hire help. Maybe you don't want to work with buyers anymore. Maybe you're ready to hire an admin or some other team member, but they don't do it like you do. And that's a common question I get. Or they don't know what to tell their assistant or their buyer agents what to do. The only way to be able to do that is by having these systems in place and actually showing them how you do it so that they can do it the same way. We had the same issue. I thought, okay, my clients will never want to work with someone that's not me. They want the Fulton sisters. And that's such an ego way of thinking in this business. But then you start to learn your clients just want to see the house. They just want to see a house. They just want good service. And that's it. They want good communication. So if I can show an agent exactly how I do it, and they show up for that client, they're not going to be mad at you because they're going to do the same way that you do it. So if you don't know how you do things, it's going to be very hard for you to grow and leverage into this freedom-based business if you don't know your own systems. So I'm not going to go over all these because honestly, this presentation itself, I have a whole buyer presentation that takes me literally 2 hours to get through. So I have a 38 buyer step system, but everybody should be about the same. Consultation, property search, accepted offer, conditional period, firm period, or the post-closing and the follow-up. So this is how you get from step to step to step to get them to that closing. And then hopefully at this post-closing, you're going to keep them as a client for life because now you're going to do a good follow-up. So when you guys are going through each of these 6 phases of the buyer system, you need to write out, okay, what are the steps I need to do in, say, a conditional period? You're probably booking a home inspector, sending the APS to the mortgage broker, sending it to the lawyer, same steps, right? So write in each of these steps what those steps are. And then ultimately, you're going to have this really amazing buyer system, and you're going to do the same thing where you could literally have a checklist of each step, and you could literally pass it off to an admin and they can help you out. Or you can hire a buyer's agent and be like, here, this is my steps. And this is what we get. When I have a new agent that joins us and they're brand new, haven't done any training, they'll say, I got a buyer client, what do I do? I have a full booklet manual that I just email right over to them. I say, great, here's your buyer system. Here's your next steps. Of course, we're going to do the training and all of that too. But if I'm in a quick need to teach an agent how to sell a house, I've got booklets for what to do when they get a buyer, what they do when they get a listing appointment, what do they do when they got hired for the listing. So we got to lay out all the steps so that we can run a more organized business. Then you've got the listing pitch system or the listing presentation. Step 1, someone calls you to come list or evaluate their home. Okay, let's do some data gathering. Let's research this home. Let's get the CMA ready to go, a pre-listing package, a presentation, which hopefully we all have. Then we do the listing pitch. Then we sign the contract. So it always shocks people when I tell them how many steps there are before you even get in front of the client. Getting in front of the client is that's one step of all of these steps, but actually preparing for a presentation, there's a whole whack of steps in between these steps that you need to write out. And not all of our systems are going to be the exact same, but these should give you guys some ideas of what the big chunks should look like. And then you got to fill in the gaps of what exactly you're doing. And then of course you've got the listing system. So now you've been hired to sell the house. Now what do I do? Okay, pre-market preparation, live on the market. They got an accepted offer. Now it's sold. Now we're going to do just sold marketing. And then we're going to continue to maintain a relationship with this seller client and hopefully get more referrals and repeat business. So if you can make a really impactful client experience by knowing the ins and outs of exactly what is happening in your client's journey, it's going to make it smoother for your clients because they're like, wow, this girl really knows what she's talking about. She knows what the next step is. She warned me that when I'm listing my home, somebody may use my washroom. Someone's going to leave a door unlocked because she knows exactly what the process is going to look like and you're able to walk your clients through the whole process. And now they've got a trust in you. They're like, you know what you're doing. They feel safe. They feel handled. They had a great client experience. And now they're going to refer you to more people. So if you don't understand the steps of each of the system, I would go back, maybe ask your broker. If you're one of our agents, I have all these booklets laid out for you. And you should have a really good understanding of this process, whether you've been through it or not, so that you can just make that experience that much better for your clients. So here's just a checklist of some of the templates that you should have ready in these client systems. So when I was going through these steps, it's important to also note what things or what tools and templates do I need to have when I'm working with buyer and seller clients. So for example, if I'm working with buyers, I always know I've got a buyer questionnaire for the consultation. These are the questions I'm going to ask. So that if a buyer says, hey, Katelyn, I'm thinking about buying a house, I can say, great, let's hop on a call so we can learn more about what you're looking for. Let's meet at the coffee shop. You whip up your questions of what you ask buyers. And that way you're not always like, oh my gosh, what do I ask them? And you get all nervous because you already know what's going on. You look calm, cool, collected because it's just part of the system. It's step 1. Ask them these questions. Do the buyer presentation. You should all have a buyer presentation, whether it's a PowerPoint presentation, a guide, something. You guys should always have these ready to go in your Google Drive or whatever you're doing in your car. I know if you want to have like a folder of printable buyer guides, just in case someone says, hey, I want to buy a house, you're ready to go somewhere easily where you can email it off. Moving checklist, you should already have these. You should have agreements of purchases and sales at home or ready to go on your computer as well. Seller questionnaire, same thing. Branded folders. You should have a listing presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, so that when someone says, hey, can you come list my home? You're like, yep, no problem. You've got it already ready to go because you've done it so many times. And then you're never thinking about it. It's already done. You only have to do it once. The only thing on a seller presentation that's really customizable is your CMA. Otherwise, you should have a seller's guide, a listing presentation. You should have a page of testimonials. You should have a sample of your marketing materials. Even after a listing presentation, we always send a plan of action, and it's a templated thing where we're like, okay, guys, we talked at the table. Here's a summary of the listing presentation. Our plan of action is here. Monday, the cleaners are coming. Tuesday, the stagers are coming. Wednesday, photographers are coming. Thursday, we're live. So you get everyone on the same page. So these are templates that I have in my toolkit, and I think everyone should have. So it just makes life that much less thoughts. Like, so remember I was talking about my packing system? You always want to have things already prepared to take more decisions off your plate so that when your lead converts into a client, you're already ready to go. So the more templates and presentations you have ready, the less decisions you need to make. Systems. Okay, I'm going to go quickly on system number 4. This one is communication. Sorry. Number one complaint I get from clients is the lack of communication from their agent. Either their agents are too slow or they don't know how to solve problems. So they're not resourceful. They don't know how to look things up, or they completely ghost their clients when problems arise because they don't want to deal with it. But communication is the biggest complaint. So I would say in part of your systems, this isn't necessarily a step-by-step system, but some things to think about when you're coming up with your response standards would be, how quickly do you want people to respond? So for me, I need to respond to my clients within 30 minutes. So they know if I don't respond within 30 minutes, I'm probably in a meeting or they think I'm in a hospital somewhere. But they know that they're going to get quick communication from me. And if I'm referring a client to another agent, or if I'm going to pass off a client to another agent, I expect them to have the exact same response standards that I do. So they need to respond within 30 minutes. If it's an online lead, 5 minutes. So you should have this in your communication manual where you're like, okay, this is my standard. And same thing when my agents contact me or any of our managers, they know that there's like a 15 to 20 minute communication standard that we have. So our agents are always responded to within 15 to 30 minutes from anybody in the company. And that's just how we expect people to be taken care of. So think about your response time, how you respond, the different communication channels. So we should all be on the social media platforms. We should be in the DMs. We should be on WhatsApp, text message, mailing, email, calling, and only use the communication channels that adapts to your client. So I always talk about my introvertness. I don't want people to call me very often. It's one of my quirks. I'll call you, obviously, of course, if it's a really important thing. But for the most part, you can text me. And I've got clients that are the exact same. In fact, I have a client that I could send her properties on text message. I could WhatsApp her. I could email her properties and she would never respond. As soon as I send it to her via Facebook Messenger, she's responding in 5 minutes. So you have to adapt to your clients, especially in today's day. So if you know as a person that you don't like the phone, high chance you're not going to like working with senior clients, for example. So go back to when I was talking about your ideal client, figure out what type of communication styles you like and try to adapt your communication to the types of clients you want to work with. Of course, we're going to adapt when those other untargeted clients are there, but these are different things to think about when you're coming up with your communication systems. And it's not necessarily step by step. It's just how quickly do you respond? Where can people find you? And how do you respond? All right, another one of my favorites is system number 5, which is schedule optimization. Do you have a schedule? And I know this is one of the hardest things that self-employed people have, especially real estate agents. It's one of my most common sit down moments that I have with agents where they'll say, I'm struggling in my business. I don't know what to do. And so usually they don't know what activities to do. So hopefully today I solved that by giving you a few steps. But a lot of the time when I ask an agent, well, how much time are you putting into the business? Or how much time did you put into lead generation or marketing? There's usually crickets because they know, okay, yeah, you're right. I didn't actually spend a lot of time in my business. And that's probably why it's not working out. But I just find it's one of the hardest things because we're self-employed. You don't have a typical boss that's telling you what to do every day. We're living the free life. And it's one of the hardest things. So what I like to call it is your rhythm. What is your rhythm? So you should be waking up every single day and knowing what is happening. You should also know what things you need to be doing to move the needle forward. So getting more clients. So you should be able to take time off and your business should still be able to run smoothly, or you should be able to wake up every day and know what you're going to be working on because you've got this rhythm and you know what you're doing because it's all part of the schedule. So here's a daily example. And this is one of the schedules that I was given when I was first in the business. But I can tell you as myself, I do not stick to this schedule. But if I was an agent that really needed a structure, this is what I would go by. And I know I didn't mention it in this presentation, but I actually used to be an administrative assistant to some of the top agents when I was in university and high school. And I had one that was trained by a Mike Ferry coach. And every day she had to lead generate. And my job as her assistant was to come up with her calling list every night so that when she came in the morning, she knew exactly who she was calling. She knew her script. She knew who she was calling because she called the same area or the same types of people every time, or it was for her listing. So she always had the same scripts. So our system was I'd look up the phone numbers, I'd have her call list so that when she came in for 8:30 or 8, she already was ready to go and she was doing her prospecting. And then she was very structured. And this is how our schedule worked when I was an assistant. And she was very structured in that way. And it worked very well for her. So agents who are building their business maybe through the more traditional lead generation strategies, maybe like you're doing prospecting through calling, maybe you're door knocking, maybe you're doing open houses and farming. This may be a schedule that works for you. Or if you're coming from maybe more of the corporate world and you like to have that like 9 to 5 type of structure, this is exactly how I would lay out that time. So you're focusing on lead generation. Everybody should have lead generation in their daily schedule, whether it's at 8:30 in the morning or 6:30 at night. We should all have lead generation should be blocked off for at least 2-3 hours a day. Then, of course, you've got your business servicing where you're servicing your current business, you're answering emails, texts, calls, and then you're doing appointments. Hopefully, our whole goal is to book appointments, listing appointments and buyer appointments. And then, of course, family time as well. So we don't want to forget about our kids and our spouses. If you're maybe more on the digital creative brain like myself, you may have a different type of schedule. So your goal as maybe more of the online type of agent is to grow your contact list every week. So you want to be showing your business to as many people that are interested in your services. And I call these the 4 needle moving activities. So this is a little different than my people that are maybe doing the cold calling and stuff. So this is maybe agents that are building their businesses through the online platforms. So what you would typically do on a day-to-day basis is identify what's currently trending, whether it's in the news or audio. So for example, the Bank of Canada announced their rates today. They stayed the same. This would be a great trending topic that you want to talk about, right? And of course, the audio as well. Then you want to build also a post bank of what other people are doing because success leaves clues. So go on your social platforms and start to save posts of other people. Like go onto your Instagram and look up real estate. Go look at people that are going really viral and save their posts and put them into a bank, a notes app, whatever you've got. Don't spend hours and hours and hours doing this. But as you're scrolling, if we're going to be scrolling, we might as well be scrolling with intention. So if you're going to be scrolling, go through content and copy these people. Okay. So if they had success, copy it. They're copying other people as well. Then you're going to pick a day or an hour where you're going to batch create content with you in it doing regular things. I know this sounds crazy, but we need to see you. If you're going to be on social platforms, it can't be these like automated campaigns that someone else is posting for you or these very generic posts. We need to see you. And it could be you, like, it could just be your hands pouring coffee. It could be your hands typing. Or if you don't want yourself, there's other platforms that may make it look like more like you. But if you're going to be doing online marketing, we need to see you in it. So film yourself sitting in a chair, film yourself walking. If you follow the Fulton sisters on Instagram, you will know that we are always randomly posting different bits from things. So when we go on vacation or if we're in the office, we'll just like randomly film things. And it doesn't necessarily mean we have to be talking to the camera all the time, but we're always filming something or taking selfies, all that stuff. There's a reason why we do all of this. And then you want to apply a hook and a message. So why should someone watch your video or why should someone be reading your message? And what are you going to do to educate them? So these are different things that we can be doing. Here we grow. So here's a strategy if you guys are maybe more on the social platform. So as a schedule optimization, maybe you're doing 3 growth posts per week. So these are different posts that you can be doing to actually grow your account to people that are not already following you. So like I said, 80% of your time should be nurturing the audience you already have, but you're going to want to do 3 growth posts where you're going to try to get outside people. And there's many strategies to this as well, but growing your social platforms every day. You also want to do 2 branded posts per week to nurture, again, your current people. So by branding, I mean telling stories. So going into your stories and telling someone about what you're up to, giving advice on buying and selling properties, giving life updates, let people know what's going on in your life. We're real people, guys. We don't always have to be so professional. We can talk about what's going on in our personal life, and that's what's going to connect people to you is by being open and honest about what's going on with you. And just really inviting people into your own world. This is not for everybody, but digital marketing is not for everyone. So if this is not your style, then you may prefer to do the more traditional styles, which I think still work. But if you're going to be on the social platforms, we need to be open to inviting people into our daily lives. Also, 1 call to action post a week to more of a long form content. So this is actually where you're going to do your lead magnet stuff. So once a week, you're going to post something that invites people to grow your email list. So giving them your ebook or your guide. Maybe you've got a long form content, which is, email list could also be like to your newsletter kind of thing. Maybe you've got a YouTube channel, a webinar, or a freebie. And it could be like comment below systems if you want my buyer's guide or you want my ebook, and then you're going to send them that in exchange for their contact information. So once a week in your stories and in your posts, try to promote this free lead magnet that I was talking about. So now we can grow the account, you've nurtured your account, and now we're going to try to figure out who's actually buying and selling in your account. Every day we should be showing up in our stories. So this is what I'm up to, showing them that you're going on buyer appointments, you're going on listing appointments, giving the people an insight of what you're up to that day. And just so you guys know, followers do not equal brand, okay? So don't get caught up in like having 10,000 followers. I don't have 10,000 followers, and I'm still able to run a business from my social account. So even if you only have 1,000 people or 500 people, just picture 500 people in front of you. That's a lot of people, even 100 people in front of you. So don't think that by having followers is going to bring you in more business. There's so many, especially if you're a Toronto agent here, there is so many real estate agents that want to be influencers, and you get caught up comparing yourself to it. I've been caught up in it as well. And then I'll look up their sales numbers and they don't even sell that many houses. So don't get caught up in this whole, I need to be a celebrity on Instagram. Just focus on yourself, focus on nurturing your audience, staying in touch with friends, family, all of your clients should be on your platforms. And then just focus on your own business and stop focusing on what other agents are up to. If we want to steal their content, go for it. If they're going viral, that's when I would do it. But don't think that followers equals money. So hopefully that helps a little bit. I get asked that question a lot about our social strategy. And we're doing it every day. Okay, so putting it all together, our daily activities should be growing the business and moving the needle. And then our weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual activities are the things that are nurturing the business. So again, like client events, monthly newsletters, quarterly home evaluations, all of that stuff. These are the things that are nurturing the business to convert them. But your daily activities are always about, okay, let's find more business. Let's find more business. Let's find more business. Almost done with you guys, but I'm glad to see a lot of you guys are still sticking to it. But elevate and delegate. So just because they have it all doesn't mean they're doing it all. So take some things off your plate so that you can constantly be promoting yourself and your services as a real estate agent. So at some point, we're going to have to get ourselves out of the weeds or by doing certain tasks so that we can leverage those repeatable processes. So how can we make the same or more money by working less? And honestly, it's by delegation. So I'm just going to give you guys some quick tasks that can be outsourced. So of course, a lot of people think that you need to go straight to hiring an administrative assistant so that you can stop doing paperwork. And I know that's probably every agent's ideal, but a lot of us are not really ready to hire an assistant because maybe you don't have enough business coming in or you don't know what to tell them what to do. Hopefully after this presentation, you know what to tell your assistants to do because you're going to write out all of your tasks. But we may not be ready to hire an assistant quite yet. So what can we do that would help us spend more time in our business, but not have to spend too much money either? And that's why I have highlighted errands, because this is something that I don't think a lot of real estate coaches out there teach, or all these gurus or whatever, but there's a lot to say about hiring out for the things that you have at home. Okay, so for example, I was working 80 hours a week. That is insane. That is a crazy amount. And I was doing absolutely everything, but I also didn't want to hire an assistant because I'm a really good assistant, guys. I don't know. I was an amazing assistant back then, and I'm just an efficient, clear person. But I started to think about at home. I was like, man, I'm spending my weekends cleaning, for example, and I don't want to do that. I want to spend my time with my husband, or I want to go out with friends or go travel and do other stuff. So think about the things you can have help with at home that would actually benefit you at home, but also allow you to spend more time working on your business. So hiring a cleaner every 3 weeks, not going grocery shopping. The amount of people I had in my course that I said, what do you do during the week? A lot of them said grocery shopping, meal prep. And I was like shocked. I was like, imagine you had a 9-to-5 job and telling your boss you're going grocery shopping. They would be like, no. So think about the errands that you guys can hire out. So cleaners, for example. There's a thing called Instacart here where you can pre-order your groceries. So you can pre-order your groceries, have them delivered to your house, or you can pick them up on your way home from the office. Mowing your lawn, having a handyman, all these different things. There's so many tasks in your home that you can think about that you can hire other people to do, and not so that you can sit on your butt at home. It's like, okay, I need to do more social media posts, or I need to do more prospecting activities, but my house is dirty. Okay, well, hire a cleaner so that you can focus more on those things that are going to make you more money. So spend the money on those different things around your home that are really going to help you. And I promise you it's going to work. Then you can think about hiring that administrative assistant when you got the paperwork. Also thinking about marketing and design. Maybe on weekends you decided, hey, I don't want to do showings on weekends or evenings anymore because I want to focus on spending more time with my family. So think about hiring a showing agent that you can pay them per showing instead of splitting a 50-50 paycheck. Think about having a showing agent to help you. Photography and videography. We do not need to be there, guys. Staging, my stager doesn't need me to observe her and watch her. The photographer doesn't need us there either. Give them the lockbox, let them go. Speaking of lockbox and sign installation, you guys can Amazon lockboxes to your clients and save yourself 2 hours of driving, an hour there, 20 minutes there, drop the lockbox off, leave, come home. For sale signs, you don't need to put the sold riders up. We don't need to put the coming soon riders up. Pay the extra money to deliver the lockbox, pay the extra money to have the sign guy go put your sold rider up. You're saving so much time leaving the office. You can spend your time more in the office and prospecting instead of doing all of these little activities. And I did all these in the beginning of my career too, guys. Closing gifts, mail them flowers, Uber Eats gift cards. You can Amazon them gifts. There's so many things. And these are all time-saving activities that you guys can do to really streamline that workflow so that you can focus on building your clientele. And then when it comes to your systems manual, write out everything that you do in those systems. Write out a things you love to do list and a things you don't love to do list. This is what my sisters and I did last year, and it was the best thing we ever did. And then put together a manual or playbook of the things that you don't want to do anymore so that you can pass it off. Even if, like, say you're hiring your cleaner, for example, some people complain because the cleaner doesn't do it the way I do it, right? Like I was saying about buyers won't do it the way I do it. The cleaner won't do it the way I do it. Okay, well, show them, right? Do a video. Say, this is like how I like my cupboards cleaned. This is like how I like to have my windows cleaned. Show the cleaner how you like to do it, and they'll do it the way you want. So if you want someone to do the things you need help with, you need to show them how. And then create a manual before you hire it out. If you've got Loom is a thing you can record. So if you've got an assistant, you can show them exactly how you like your paperwork done. You can, if maybe one day I'll have someone pack my vacation bags for conference, like things like that. But if you want someone to help you, you need to show them how. And then you would create a detailed systems manual and writing step by step. And you should be able to walk away and hand over a manual, and it should be so detailed that whoever's taking over doesn't need to call you or ask you what to do next, because it's all in the manual. Awesome. We're coming to the end, guys. I do have a free systems guide. So go to this QR code. You just have to pop up your phone. If you're on your cell phone, go to this systems guide. It's going to outline those 5 systems a little bit more for you guys, just in a more readable format. I will record this session, or it's being recorded right now, so I'm going to have it on YouTube for you guys as well. But this is just your guide to a less chaotic business. And I know I said a lot, but I promise you everything I said is really just simplifying the business for you so that you're able to really run a more focused business. So grab that guide. Now I know, I'll go back to that. I know that the implementation of your systems can be hard, and there's so much to teach you guys about each of these systems. Like I said, it can take me hours to go through each of them. So I did create a Systems for Success course. It is online because I do get so many questions from agents about this that want to know how to run a more systemized business, and they want me to go over a lot of, like, for example, the lead generation one I get. So I created a Systems for Success online course for you guys. And it's a self-paced course. You go on, you watch each module, and it's going to go through each of those things I just spoke about to really help you come up with your systems as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, please contact me, or you may even receive an email after this with a little bit more details as well, or you can go to systemsforsuccess.ca. But I do have a really cool course that I worked really hard on that really kind of simplifies a lot of these tasks for you as well. So look up Systems for Success. Each of them, I go through each module. Again, it's self-paced course where we go full detail. So I talk about the lead generation system. I talk about the CRM, the buyer experience. I even show you guys exactly my systems, step by step of how we work with each of these. Templates are in there. Everything that you need, buyer's guides, seller's guides, it's all in there for you. If you're one of my agents, you already have access to all of this in the Google Drive. So contact me if you guys want access to all that. Otherwise, we've got this online course going now. Anybody have questions? I'm going to go back to that one. Let's see. Systems. List. Okay, I'm going to go to the top. Okay. Difference between agent locators online. So it depends. I think this is Tim's question. So the difference between our home evaluation tool and the agent locators online evaluation. So our home evaluation tool, actually, like when someone goes to our website, they put their mailing address in, and within like 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes, instantly, they receive what their house is worth. Whereas the agent locator one, from what I've seen, will email you as the agent saying, so-and-so came to your website, they're requesting a home evaluation, and then you manually have to send it to that online lead, right? So it could be 3 hours until you're able to do that. So by having the tool that we're using, and if you want, I can show you guys it too, but it's all on our website. And they click it and they get an instant home evaluation. I get a notification, and then I can kind of go over that as I go. But I like that it's instant, so that if I'm out with my husband, I don't have to think about, oh my gosh, I need to do a home evaluation, because it's already done. Yeah, the CMA before seeing the property. We don't do a true CMA before seeing the property or doing a listing presentation. It's just a lead magnet. It will send them a very broad range of what their house is worth. And then you can follow up and say, hey, this is a more like generic tool. Do you want me to give you a more personalized home evaluation? And now you're inviting yourself to book an appointment to go see their home. So it's just them putting their hand up so that now you can go see their house and do a true home evaluation. So we don't get caught up in whatever that price is, whether it's wrong or not. So we just let the clients know that it's auto-generated. A listing proposal. So we do a listing proposal after a listing presentation. So if the client decided that they weren't ready to hire us or they weren't ready to hire us and they're interviewing other people, we have a document called the listing proposal, and it outlines everything we talked about at the presentation, talking about our marketing, talks about our costs, and it just says, okay, if I get this listing, this is what I'm going to do. And we talk about, okay, we're going to do stagers, we're going to do photography, and we talk about all the services we're going to provide. So it's just a summary of the presentation, but also like a commitment, like, hey, I'm going to do this for your house. I want to get hired. So it's like sending in another resume, but also like just a step further. When they weren't ready, now you're going to send your proposal of what you're going to do. So if they didn't sign on the spot, that's what we typically do. Yeah, so Tim, like it's probably the same as agent locator. Maybe I'll show you guys it actually. It's not like super accurate either. Let's see. So this is what it looks like if you're on our website. Let me see if I can see it. So if you go to the fultonsisters.com, you guys can all go to it. If you're not in the Toronto Durham Region area, you won't get it. But if you are, feel free to use it. Just put your name in there so I know not to not to contact you. But people can go to home evaluation. And then they just go here, they just put their address in, and I'm just going to show you the report they get looks like this. It gives them a low range to high range. And honestly, the range is like hundreds of thousands. So it's not accurate either. It gives them a bunch of numbers, like a medium number, the price adjustment. So what they put in is they put their address, when they bought it and how much they bought it. And it just uses the house price index to give like somewhat of a home evaluation quickly. And then of course we get it. So it also sends comparable properties. It's a really great tool. I think we pay about $150 a month. Again, it's called Remarketer down here, Remarketer. So definitely tap into that. Let's see. What campaigns would you recommend setting up for prospects beside neighborhood news and listing announcements? So Idris, the campaigns that we like are, we like to do the seasonal maintenance one. If you're a Century 21 agent, you guys have access to Hub 21. Seasonal maintenance is a really good one. It goes once a quarter. It's actually, I don't know, it's very simple. It just says, okay, it's winter, clean your gutters or do whatever. And it just tells them what to do with their home. I really like that one. And actually, in fact, on that one, we're going to extend it this year. Like I said, we analyze how we do our campaigns. And at the bottom of it, we're actually going to add, get a home evaluation, click here for the home seller's guide as well. So we're going to add a couple extra links so that people can do that. But the seasonal maintenance one is definitely a good one. Like I said, the holiday one, that one, I got so many unsubscribes. So I would take that out. If I was a real estate agent, I would even have a separate campaign for my referral partners to talk about you as an agent. And I mean, referral partners are other real estate agents in outside areas. So we've got a lot of Century 21 Canada people on here today. Everyone should be networking and giving each other contacts and like congratulating each other through newsletters. But those ones are good. I wouldn't get too caught up on what the newsletters are specifically, because a lot of the time they're just deleting them anyways. The whole point is just to see your name pop up in their mailbox. And then when you go into the analytics on your CRM, you can see who's opening them as well. And then you can use that as a sign, like, okay, they're opening it. Why don't I check in with this person? Or like if they click on a link in your newsletter, you can see that in the analytics. And now you can actually say, hey, how's it going? Don't say, hey, I saw you clicked on my newsletter or anything like that. But maybe it's just like a nice way to like start a conversation as well. Perfect. Any other questions? Best CRM. This one's tough. I would say the best CRM is one that you're going to use. And I know that's a common question. I used Excel for a very long time, just a simple Excel sheet if you're not tech advanced. just have an Excel sheet that just has first name, last name, mailing address, and then something that you can like literally mass copy and paste email addresses if you know how to use Gmail. Otherwise, I use the Hub 21. I'm not here to promote Century 21 stuff, but I do use the Hub 21. It's free. It does automated campaigns. So if you have access to Hub 21, I would use that. There's other ones like Follow Up Boss, I've heard is very strong. A lot of my teams use that one if you've got teams and you want to keep track of stuff, but I would keep it super, super simple if you're not high tech. Like I said, add contacts, you need tags and something that you can send mass emails out on. Any other apps for lead capture? I only use lead captures. I only use Facebook, Instagram, and not paid ads. I'll tell you guys now, I don't pay for a single ad ever. It's all automated. I don't like spending a lot of money. I'm cheap. So a lot of my stuff is just on Instagram stories, Facebook, email marketing is a huge one for us as well, and networking. Newsletter. The newsletter that got the most unsubscribes was the holidays. So if you guys are sending out like Merry Christmases, Happy New Year's for some reason, like they know that it's like auto generated and they probably get 1 billion from all these other companies. So if you're going to do a holiday campaign, what we did this year is we summarized instead of Merry Christmas, we did a full email. We put pictures of our husbands, our kids. We talked about, like we said, Merry Christmas from us, gave them life updates on who we were. So don't be afraid to like send your mass clients something that's more personal about you guys too. And like get personal in your email campaigns and not just the generics, but the generics are good just to have something automatically going because again, it's taking one less task off of your system there. What tool do you document your systems? So I just use, I used to use Microsoft Docs and I would literally just write step-by-step what I do. So when I was an assistant, it's just Microsoft document, just writing step-by-step. And then I went on to Canva and I created more like pretty manuals and stuff like that for, if you guys are Percy Fulton agents, Canva is where I create all of your manuals for buyers, sellers, and all of that. But keep it simple. Microsoft documents. If you like checklists, they have on Excel sheet, they have a checklist as well. So if you want to do more that way, go on to, I think it's Google Sheets, and then you can create a checklist form for each of your systems as well. But yeah, keep it simple. Perfect. Anything else? I know it's a lot. I'm glad you guys have lots of questions. Usually I have crickets, so maybe systems isn't so boring after a while. Anyway, so if you guys do have more questions, you can find me, Katelyn.Fulton at century21.ca. You can find me on Instagram at Fulton Sisters. So if you really want to watch us, follow us, you can even watch me post our lead magnets. And now you know exactly what I'm doing when I'm doing that. So just keep an eye, just copy what we do too. It doesn't matter. So hopefully you guys have some more fun with all of this stuff. And yeah, hope to see a bunch of you guys soon. I'm going to put this on our YouTube channel as well, and I'll email it out to all of you guys. So I'll see you guys.